pregnant.
Of course not, but that's not the point.
Not her body, not her choice, I guess.
Look, I've got a question for you.
You are contradicting yourself by saying she can't drink alcohol and take drugs. Why not?
Because it's medically proven that it can affect the baby.
Ha! I think we just heard a light bulb go off on the top of her head, as of course they really did forget about My Body, My Choice about 3 years ago, didn't they? Yeah, they did. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of youtube.com/wearechange. And we have a lot of absolutely wild and bewildering news to get into today, as of course politicians are up to no good, and there's a lot of people predicting the absolute worst is still yet to come, especially in 2025. Are these predictions based in any actual reality? I would say so, as of course there's a lot of things to look out for, especially when it comes to next year, as this year is already pretty crazy, pretty nonsensical, especially with all the latest stuff developing with Joe Biden, who is doubling down and probably will still be the nominee for the Democratic political party. We'll be talking about that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And for every new subscriber, Atlas gets at least one treat. That, of course, is my co-host, as the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was originally highlighted by @TonyX2, who shared this clip. I don't know if that's this man in this video. If you know who this man is, let me know so we could properly attribute him for being able to correct someone in 30 seconds about their larger political point of view. As again, single-handedly dismantling an argument in less than a minute is pretty impressive. And that's all it takes with some common sense when it comes to this larger perspective and debate that truly has been absolutely destroyed by a lot of radicals who, of course, never want to have an honest discourse. In related absolute radicals news, we have the mayor of New York City, who is known for partying, that is now showing the world how to throw out trash in a bin. Yes, the world is kind of asking themselves, this is literally the stage that we are at. This is where we are at in the Roman Empire. As of course, the trailer for Gladiator 2 just came out, highlighting how that movie will be about the end of the Roman Empire. As in New York City, people literally throw their trash on their sidewalk. Now we have upgraded to bins that the city will be mandating and probably punishing people for not using, as there's probably not going to be enough bins for all the people in the apartment buildings living on top of each other, as the city now will have new sources of revenue that they'll be taken away from the local citizenry and, of course, property owners that will be subject to, of course, these new regulations that will be enforced against them. This, as New York City, of course, has to pay for the new people that they're bringing into the city that is replacing them. As Pew Research just released some very stunning information highlighting how in many Western countries, immigrants are actually accounting for all of the population growth between the year 2000 and 2020. This has low fertility rates, aging populations, and of course the decline in marriages and successful relationships in Western-backed places is highlighting a larger crisis of civilization, as people in Western worlds are not having children. There's even propaganda media efforts telling them not to have children in order to make the weather gooder, as left-wing radical politicians are literally bringing people in from the third world in order, of course, to deal with this significant problem that is only being made worse by corporatist, globalist, neoliberal policies that literally cheer on people who are sterilizing themselves. This, as of course, countries like Italy, Germany, the Czech Republic, Portugal are leading the way with small island nations when it comes to this larger demographic shift, which of course will have significant ramifications on the local culture and population there, as some people are trying to spin this as cultural enrichment. As in Germany, a Nigerian migrant just attacked a police officer, was quickly released from prison, and then soon attacked another one, then was released from prison and attacked again, as he was being immediately released from courts 3 times on 3 separate occasions, as this story just highlights more of the absolutely wild, insane turn of events that the people of Europe have to deal with. As of course, this Nigerian migrant first attacked a 9-year-old. He bit police officers, left them with bruises, released. 13 hours later, he stopped again for riding a train without a ticket. He then stabs 2 police officers and then immediately released from custody. And then hours later, once again, riding a train without a ticket, stopped by police officers, assaults the police officers as he was being immediately released as there were requests to arrest him and charge him, which didn't happen. All of this as politicians who literally call for this population replacement are enriching themselves by rigging the economic markets for their own personal benefit. This as Nancy Pelosi's portfolio just hit a new all-time high, as it is estimated that she has made nearly $17 million just in the last 2 months alone, as her worth is now estimated to be around $257 million, as she was able to, of course, gain the markets more than Warren Buffett and a lot of other financial experts, as she is somehow a financial expert and genius that's one of the smartest people in the world, as the lady literally slurs her speech and can't really make a coherent statement, just like Joe Biden, which she's standing behind. As, of course, Nancy Pelosi is also for the larger interventions happening right now in Ukraine, as the Democratic Party predominantly is the one leading the charge against Russia that we are ever so closer to being in a full all-out war with. This as geopolitically, a lot of things are shaping up in a very strange way, as Saudi Arabia is now warning the G7 countries over seizing Russian assets and money that, according to many countries, they didn't have a right to take. As, of course, the United States and many other Western countries have launched a financial war against Russia, not only with sanctions, but also with just blatantly stealing their money and their assets. Saudi Arabia is saying, hey, that's not okay to take people's property and wealth, as their larger kind of realignment with the East rather than the West highlights larger, graver threats. As just this week alone, we are going to be seeing the NATO summit that will be taking place in Washington, D.C., as there's a lot of significant questions about this conference, about the future of NATO, who even the Washington Post wrote, whose future is, quote, always cloudy, as there are some serious concerns about the alliance's durability, as this week's meeting in Washington, D.C. will be very clear about the future of Europe, the future of the United States, especially when it comes to the larger prospects of a potential full, all-out global war with Russia and its Eastern partners, as, of course, the blind mystic Baba Yaga just came out and said that, quote, the end times will commence in 2025. As according to some people, she was able to, of course, predict the events in New York City in 2001, the war in Ukraine. She has been compared to the Nostradamus of the Balkans, and she, of course, is a French astrologer. She, of course, passed away in 1996. But before her passing, she says that the apocalypse will begin in 2025 because of a conflict in Europe that will devastate the continent's population. And whatever you might think of mystics or people predicting the end, I do have to say that there are a lot of hallmarkers that do predict that there's going to be a lot of very significant things coming to a head in the year 2025, which, according even to... And from everything that I'm seeing, not just from a kind of esoteric, kind of energetic, hippy-dippy level, but from more of a common sense approach, especially when it comes to the economy, especially when it comes to the situation in Ukraine, especially when it comes to the larger kind of political, tumultuous situations that we're all involved in and entrapped in that there's no escaping, especially when it comes to the population crisis, especially when it comes to the division set out in our society. It definitely does look like 2025 will be the year where a lot of those serious concerns will, of course, be realized more than ever. And again, I hope I'm wrong, and I have my own kind of belief system, and I have my own like little hippy-dippy understanding of things, which I usually share. on lookunfiltered.com. As of course, we do special videos just for members of our secret, not so secret society almost every single day. As members also get the ability to call in to our show. We're going to be doing a very special show later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Douglas Mackey, the man who literally went to jail because of a meme. He's going to be here in studio talking with us. You could talk to him just by signing up and becoming a member of lookunfiltered.com, going into our Telegram channel and letting us know that you want to call in. And of course, we will be going to callers during the show later on today on this particular YouTube channel. We had a great show last night with some really awesome people. As we go out of our way to provide you the most amount of value and also, most importantly, the most amount of incredible information that you could act on specifically just for members, as we are also looking to do in real life meetups this week in Las Vegas, next week in Milwaukee, the following weeks in Nashville, Tennessee. As of course, we're also going to be at the Bitcoin conference. Use promo code WRC, get a significant discount off of your tickets for the Bitcoin conference, and we'll be hanging out and all trying to build larger communities in these places where, of course, we get to hang out, meet, and chat at. All exclusively on LukeUnfiltered.com. I think I'm going to do a cigar night in Las Vegas, probably this Saturday or maybe Sunday morning. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but come out. We're going to be doing a lot of really fun stuff. To get all of it, sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com here exclusively on our members area, as there's still a lot of very serious questions about what is going to be happening under the Democratic Party. As AOC recently came out saying that she, of course, is clear that Joe Biden is going to be the nominee, and that is who she will be, of course, exclusively supporting. Very interestingly, there's also a lot of big Democratic money donors that are coming out and saying, yeah, we would rather have a dead Biden than a live Kamala as the nominee. Holy cow. Serious shots fired against Kamala Harris. Holy cow. Wow. As Reid Hoffman, a major big-time donor, Bilderberg player, came out last week and said that either a dead or comatose Biden would be better than replacing him on the ticket than Kamala Harris. As Breitbart editor-in-chief Alex Marlo made a very interesting point about this matter, saying this specifically on Real America's Voice.
And I think you probably agree with this. Other than the fact that she has all these woke points, one of the major reasons Kamala Harris was Joe Biden's choice as vice president is because she's too stupid and incompetent to surpass him. He's a genius compared to Kamala Harris. No makes this point. I don't understand why they don't. It's very obvious. Kamala Harris is not going to surpass Joe Biden, and he's not going to pass the torch to her unless he absolutely has to. It feels like everyone that is listening to this thinking, oh, yeah, of course. Of course, that's why she's there. Because if he put someone who was a super talented politician, they could vault him. She could never do that, and that's partially why she's there, even though she thinks he's a racist and they don't really get along.
Let's be honest here, it's a pretty brilliant move to put Kamala Harris as your VP, to put the most unliked, least popular, least charismatic, least intelligent person behind you in the second of command. That, of course, ensures that you will never be challenged there. As, of course, we have another article here from dropsitnews.com saying why Biden won't drop out, according to the Democratic money mover Dimitri Melhorn, highlighting a very interesting image of Joe Biden blindly looking out into the distance, and then Kamala Harris eagerly cackling right behind him with a Joker-like grin that highlights the situation perfectly, in my opinion. As, of course, her white, strong male, really beta, husband is right behind her. And again, there's a lot of calls for the Obamas and the Clintons to get involved here. But it definitely doesn't look like that's happening right now, as Hunter Biden is taking more of a commanding lead within the Biden administration, as, of course, he is, according to the Telegraph, acting like the gatekeeper for the current president of the United States. There's some serious kind of allegations against him, as of course his future is also on the line here, especially when it comes to potentially pardoning him for the crimes that he was just found guilty of. Now, the future of the Democratic Party is uncertain, but it looks like they are absolutely doubling down. There's still a number of articles that I want to talk about, but behind the scenes, the situation is fascinating, and I have my own unique take on this that I will be expanding on later on today with some really awesome people in studio with us, as of course we are going to be joined by Lila Hart, Andrew Meyer, don't tase me, bro, and of course Douglas Mackey in just a few hours from now. Click the notification button. We got Rob Schneider coming on the show this Thursday morning. So stay tuned for that and a lot more, all here on youtube.com/We Are Change. I got one more video coming for you for members of LukeUnfiltered.com. So go check that out right now. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on LukeUnfiltered.com.